Hello, welcome to another Q&A for SF Indie Fest Shorts Fest 2022. This is another Q&A for an excellent program of short and scary, or short and very, very, very scary. Some great films, and we are fortunate to have many filmmakers with this morning. Thanks, guys. Hello.
Hello.
You.
Thanks for joining us. It's good to have you here. You know what? Just so I can get introduced to you and put your face to the movie, let's go around the room. I'll call you out. Introduce yourself, your role in the movie, and did that little guy have something to do with the movie too?
Uh,
Callum?
this little lady
Oh, the lady.
happened to be during the making of the movie, but that was a pure coincidence.
Well,
She's just here.
well, since I'm on with you, why don't you introduce yourself and your film, please, very briefly.
Alrighty. I'm Callum Sikander Smith. I made a film called My Life, My Life, My Life. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that.
Right on. Very good. Lam, am I saying your name correctly? Lam.
Yes,
Hi, welcome.
I'm based in Ho Chi Minh City. It's 1 a.m. I'm an actor and singer-songwriter and the director of Mimi.
Wonderful, wonderfully creepy film, and that's where the future is going, unfortunately, I think. We'll talk about that. Jason, you're next, please.
Hi, I'm Jason Burke. I'm in Los Angeles. I am the director of Nice to Finally Meet You.
And it's nice to finally meet you. Also,
Yeah,
creepy.
same.
Don't want to meet the parents anymore. Jamie, you're next on my screen, please.
Yes, so I am the writer, producer, actress for Black Creek Trail.
Wonderful. More creepiness, stalking. Colin.
Hey everybody, I'm Colin Costello. Yeah, I'm the writer director, and I was a producer of Storage.
Storage. I now not going to my storage facility after nightfall. Well, I'm on you. Let's talk a little bit about your film. What the hell? Where'd that come from? Where'd that idea start? Where's the inspiration for Storage?
Well, the inspiration honestly was I went through something a little traumatic, and I'm on the committee of Black writers at the Writers Guild, and a friend of mine spoke to me like a little time after that, and he's like, you can't do it now, but later on, I want you to take, you have to, as a writer, director, you have to embrace the good with the not so good, and you have to bring it in and make it your storytelling power. And he went on and told me a story about something that had happened to him and how he turned it on its head and made it into his storytelling power. So that's what I do now. I take everything that happens in life and it just, it comes out in a story.
Wow. Have you made other films before, or just written films?
Yeah. No, I had a family feature in theaters in 2013 called The Stream. It was kids in the 80s playing Star Wars with Rainn Wilson, and then I started directing in 2017, and I had a short film that did really well called The After Party, and it was very much in the same vein as Storage, very Twilight Zone, super dark, and then went a little bit lighter with a web series called From Russia with Motive, and another short film called
What was the family film taking place in the 80s?
The Stream.
The Stream. I just want to look it up. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Cullum, introduce your film, your inspiration, where it came from.
So it's called My Life, My Life, My Life, and I like to say that, like most good ghost stories, it's true. I just changed a lot of the facts around to make a better story, but it's essentially based on my initial misunderstanding of how things went down between my now wife and her late sister,
Oh, wow.
and how, yeah, they didn't have the best of relationship, and how her sister's death has affected her and stayed with her through her life and relationships and things. So it is. I mean, the film's a bit of a meditation on grief and loss, and dealing with trauma and grief, and with the demonically reanimated vengeful corpse of your dead loved ones, which, relatable, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of just you know, it was one of those things. We had gone out on a camping trip, and I think normal people sit around telling each other ghost stories around the fire. And I said, "Oh, gotta get my laptop. I gotta write this script." And so that's where the first draft of that came from. But yeah, I mean, it basically grew out of some true life experiences, but you know, heavily fictionalized.
Right.
Say that, you know, personally, I can only tell the story from the perspective of the well-intentioned but kind of dumb boyfriend, and I can only tell the story up to the point where my head went into the mirror and I lost consciousness, which never happened. That part.
All right. Great. Lamb, what the heck is your movie about? I mean, I've seen it, but explain it a little bit.
Well, I started filmmaking because I was tired of just waiting to be casted in films. So I started to write and direct my own films. And the first 3 films, short films, we participated in 48-hour film projects and other competitions. But this 4th short film, it came to me when I was sleeping and had a nightmare, which I didn't know at the time. So I was talking to Alexa, and it didn't listen to me. I was shouting at it, and suddenly some ghosts were swerving around my bed, and then I was shouting so hard, but no voice came out. And then I woke up, and then I said, "Fuck, that was scary." And I said, "Oh, cool, an idea is born."
So Callum said he pulled out his laptop around the campfire. Is that true, Callum? Around the campfire, you actually pulled it out and just started. Lamb, did you have a notepad next to your bed? But did you get up and start writing right away?
I have my phone close by, so I recorded that.
Of course, not a notepad. You had some technology piece, of course.
Well, it oftentimes happens that I have nightmares, and I just forget the what happened, and I wish I would have written it down or recorded it. And luckily, it was with Mimi, and then I worked on it, and it became more clearly that I wanted to shoot it. And then I found some sponsors, because without them I couldn't have done it, because it was so expensive to do the visual effects.
Yeah. Technology. It feels like it's always in the background now. It's haunting or stalking us. Speaking of stalking, Jamie, that a little bit leads into your segue into your film. Tell us about it a little bit. How to stalk.
Yeah. So I did go on a solo backpacking trip a few years back, and I had a pretty terrifying experience, and mostly it was in my head, honestly, but it was pretty terrifying, and everything turned out totally fine. But this film is kind of the what if version.
Right.
So yeah, and I originally wrote it as a feature, actually, and then made this short film as a proof of concept short,
Right.
for the feature. So
Right. Yeah, it's crazy nowadays. I don't know if it was the pandemic or just me getting older, but I'm not as trusting as strangers, that could possibly be helpful or hurtful.
Yeah, and it was a lot about, your intuition, and just how, for women especially, we're trained and taught to just repress our intuition and be nice. And even when we're in danger. And so it was, I've had so many women come up to me and just say, like, "Oh, I go through that all the time," and it's like, you're so focused on trying to be nice, which is such a weird thing, but that is the training, for a woman,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm with my partner all the time, her spidey senses or intuition are going off all the time. And I'm like, you're not even aware that, there's, a threat nearby.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, creepy film, scary film. I was creeped by that actor too. He was well done.
He did a great job, and he's such a nice guy, ironically. So. Yeah.
Jason, how about you? What was the inspiration for your film?
Well, that was written by actually the boyfriend in the film, Evan Williams, and he wrote it because he just wanted to make a film that was a one shot. He's very much inspired by the one shot in Halloween. And
the one shot in Hollywood, like this
Halloween, like the reboot, when they're following Michael walking through down the street the night of Halloween. He goes into the house and kills the babysitter. I just really loved that. So he wrote a movie that was just to be a one-shot reveal of all the people at the table. But then after I read it, I was like, I think it'd be more interesting if we just kind of saw his reality blended into the reality of what was happening. So after some convincing, he let me do it that way, and he was very happy with the end result. And this really was the first time I ever touched horror. My career has always been in comedy. I've been a stand-up and an actor in comedy for the last 15 years, and then got into writing and directing series for Comedy Central, and just doing comedy. But I was like, well, I mean, who knows horror more than comedians? So this feels like a right thing to take on.
Inspiring many questions. So why horror? So why did you make this transition?
Well, I mean, horror was a genre I just grew up on. As a child of the '80s,
Halloween
watching
is one of my favorites.
Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. My name's Jason, so I obviously love Friday the 13th. There's a special place in my heart for that. Anything John Carpenter. I just grew up loving horror, so I knew that when the opportunity came around, it's the other genre that I'd want to kind of dabble in.
Right. And why a short film? I'm still on you, Jason. I'll ask this of all of you. Why a short? Why didn't you pursue a feature? I know Jamie is kind of doing proof of concept. Why'd you do a short? Was it a choice?
I think really it was a financing thing. I just think, the feature version wasn't written and something that he wanted to write, but I was like, look, this is attainable. We can make this in the pandemic. It felt like an accomplishment just to get it done in the pandemic. So, and again, just raising the money for that was the priority. So that, I think that's really the impetus for it.
And Jamie, did I answer the question why you did a short? Is it to get
and absolutely, and also what Jason said, the money. I mean, it just to get the funding for features is we've been trying. It's a long process, and you can actually make the short. And so when you're dying to make the film, at least it's part of your creativity being expressed in the meantime. So
right, and keeping your skills sharp and testing things out.
Exactly.
Callum, did you deliberately choose short film, or it just lent itself to be that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's kind of, each project, each story, you got to figure out what it wants to be. And I think I have some ideas have been developing as features. Have some ideas I'm trying to develop as graphic novels. I think if you really wanted to, you probably could play this thing out into a feature and, maybe follow our character Allison through more of her life and more relationships and things. But I don't think it seemed to be that's what it needed to be. I was trying to make it under 10 minutes, but it seemed to want to be a 13-minute film. So that's what it is.
Yeah, it's tough to cut and chop your creations. Shorts for you, Colin and Lem. Why'd you do a short? Colin.
Well, I mean, mine was more of a business decision. I discussed a lot with my manager at Metallic Entertainment, and he's also pushing me as a director now. So I needed something else for my reel that was kind of in the same tone and vein as the other shorts on my reel. So we put together and looked at all my short scripts, and we decided to go with this one.
Got it. And Lam, same thing. Did you choose the short, or it just lent itself to that medium?
So the initial idea was I'm doing film since 23 years. I don't really get the chances to be the lead. So I wanted to write the films that I want to star in. And this idea came, I pitched it to two angel investors that really, they have money. So, and to prove them, kind of proof of concept that I can do films and they are not embarrassing, especially in Vietnam, because here mostly the films are hard to say. So sci-fi is literally not happening. Right. So I wanted to show them I can do that. And now we ran at 6 festivals already in 6 different countries. And and they like it, they love it. And they said, we want to move forward. So I worked on a pitch for a feature film. that will be due next week. I'm going to pitch to them. And there's one of the biggest producer who saw that short film in a private screening, and he said, pitch it to me. Let's see
Nice. All
if we
right.
can do it.
And what's the real quick, what's the film industry like in Vietnam or Saigon, wherever you are?
Horrors work very, very well. Action movies and comedies, almost everywhere, right? But
Yeah.
especially here, how is the scenery? It's if you talk about comedy, it's a very specific humor they have here in Vietnam. But with the streaming services and COVID, everybody's now watching Netflix, so the standard and the expectations are now more international. So where we would cringe and be embarrassed to see some scenes where they're totally overacted, it's almost like Bollywood, too much, too much.
Yeah.
Everything that is changing into almost a common international standard thing mindset here.
Right.
I would say.
Callum, what were some challenges making your movie? Also, maybe being so close, your wife being close to the material. What were some challenges?
Yeah, there were a number. I mean,
There always are in filmmaking.
we ended up. I mean, probably the most ridiculous thing that happened to our whole shoot was actually getting shut down by the city. I thought I could get away with filming a short film in my own house without a permit, but the city film.
Where are you located?
In New Westminster. It's this city in Metro Vancouver. And apparently it was just bad timing. The city film commissioner just happened to be driving by and saw us filming something, and he hadn't given us a permit. And he just happens to be one of these really power tripping people who likes to just loves shutting things down and loves making a point about the power he has. But anyway,
Yeah.
it was kind of a funny.
You couldn't be bribed.
No, it was a funny conversation. Like, I thought he was fishing for a bribe at first, but it turned out to be a bit of a blessing in disguise, because we were shooting on literally the hottest day in recorded history of the city, and we were all, it was too hot. We were grumpy. I wasn't communicating as well as I should have been. So we got halfway through what should have been our last day of shooting, and got shut down. So then, of course, it was the whole ordeal of trying to get the cast and the crew and everything back together again a few weekends later, because it was supposed to just be 2 weekends and done. But anyway, from a technical mechanical perspective, that was the biggest challenge. But yeah, the on a more abstract level, like, it was I think it was very, very kind and very brave of my wife to allow me to use the story. Like, I wrote the story, I wrote it. I said, here's a thing I've written, and I've dedicated, like, I've written this for you. I've written it dedicated to you, but like, are you okay with me using this story? And I think she went through a bit of it, because, at first she was like, yeah, of course, sure, it's fine. And then I think we kind of got to a point, and obviously it was super hard for her. We were shooting in our house with a bazillion people here, and she didn't know she was pregnant at the time, but she was. So, but I think she kind of got to a point where she was not super thrilled about us doing it. But
filming your home, I won't say anything, because I don't want, if anybody's watching, I want them to let us film in their home. So
yeah, questionable decisions were made, but yeah, we got there. And I mean,
good. Let me ask Jamie the same question. Jamie, challenges making your film. Where'd you shoot it to? It's all outdoors.
Yeah, we shot it at Rustic Oaks Ranch, I think is what it's called. And it's half hour outside of LA, Santa Clarita. And it looks really rustic, but actually it's behind a gated community. This guy lives at the very end of it. And then there's this untapped land just beyond his house that he rents out for film shoots. And so the problem that we had with that was that the community, that you can't let guests in or film shoots in before 7 a.m. And then and then we had to be out by 7 p.m. because of the well, first of all, because of the light, but second of all, because of the price of the 12-hour shoot. And then if you like go 15 minutes over, it's a certain amount. Anyway, we had 12 hours to load in, shoot the whole thing, load out, and be out of there. And it was, I mean,
that's tight.
It was tight. And we have a wound that we had to do, and sewing up a wound. I mean, there was a lot of
And
stuff
how
going
close
on.
could you get to the actual location, the spot where you're filming? Like, did you have to trek a little bit and haul the gear and whatnot?
Yeah, it wasn't too far. It was, but it was far enough that, I would say that like a few minute walk. And then also we had two different places we were filming, and the other one you had to walk all the way back and then up this big hill. So that was the last shot of the day, was actually the first scene. And, it took everyone pushing the cart of
And if
equipment
you
up
forgot
the
anything
hill.
from the truck or the van or down at the base station, it was the delay.
Exactly. And then
Yeah.
and we were rushing so fast, and then we were running to the truck and like can't really throw things in, but as fast as you can. And I'm like, I can't afford 15 more minutes. Like, we
You're
gotta
like
leave,
you're like thinking, oh, nice, easy location, couple
Yeah.
locations, single location. This will be
Yeah.
smooth. How many days
Yeah.
did you shoot?
It was just the one day, and we did it all in the one day.
Oh,
Yeah, so it
wow.
was really intense. But honestly, the guy was so nice. I mean, he really was great, and the space was great. It was just simply the tight turnaround. It was just the time. That was what was so
Yeah.
hard about it. Yeah.
Jason, challenges making your movie. Pretty much one location, right? I mean,
One location, so that was good. I mean, biggest challenges were twofold with our lead actress, Andy Matichik. She is a current co-star of the new Halloween reboot. She plays Laurie Strode's granddaughter in the Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. So and she's a good friend, so she was willing to do this for free, but her agents were kind of like big timing us over like a contract and just like asking for a lot when she didn't care. So there was a lot of back and forth trying to deal with them just to allow her to make this short film, despite, her willingness to. And then on top of that, she was 4 months pregnant when she was doing this. And there was some like physical stunts. Well, we had a stand-in for her on the bigger stuff, the fall, but there was a lot of physicality involved. So, we were really nervous about that, but she was like an incredibly good sport. And, obviously we kept her very safe, but, there's an underlying tension when your star is pregnant and she has to crawl on the ground and beat someone to death with a rock.
A little bit of a tangent here, because you mentioned like comedy, this horror comedy kind of overlap. I giggled sometimes, even though I was scared. I was creeped out by your film.
That's
Does that bother you, or does that happen to you?
That's funny. It was bothering me. Like when I was, the first few festivals we had it in, I'm like, why the fuck are people laughing at this? And I was like, I guess I can't completely strip the comedy out of the direction I give people.
Right.
Like it's just gonna be an unintentional comedy and humor. In horror, I think is pretty essential, depending on the film, right? But I think it's really
totally
nice.
enjoyed it. I totally appreciated that bonus laugh.
Yeah.
Unexpected.
So I've learned to embrace it and just let it be what it is.
Good. So, what would you say? Is there any underlying way you want people to feel when they come out of there? Do you want people to feel just entertained, or is there more than that? I'll ask you, Jason. I'll ask everyone. What do you want people to feel, or what kind of?
I just want to feel like they saw a story that was completed in 7 minutes. I want them to have some closure. I want them to feel like they understood that there was a narrative happening and that we were able to accomplish that in the time that we did it in. And I think that's like a primary goal of any short film. Either you're trying to tell the whole story or you're just showing a snippet of a bigger story. But that's really what I want people to take away from that.
It's tight. It's successful. And the editing, I think, also had a big part to do with that. Who was the editor?
The editor was just a friend of mine that I've worked with before. Again, comedically, he edited a lot of my comedic stuff, so I'm sure that played into some of the comedy in there. But he did a great job.
Jamie, thank you. Jamie, do you want audiences to feel a certain way, or do you want to convey something? What kind of emotion do you want to get out of them?
The tension of the inner back and forth of questioning your intuition. So, maybe he is good. Oh no, he's not. Wait, I have a bad feeling. No, but maybe I'm just playing into it, or reading into it, or that back and forth tension, and just tension. It's
Successful. That's the way I felt. It's like, is this guy, good or bad? Yeah, well done. And that's a compliment to the performances, direction and performances. How do you think you got that elicited those performances, all those actors? Was it the relationship or casting or all the above?
So I didn't direct it. So Soma Helmi, who's a wonderful director, she's really great with actors. So I credit her partly, and then hopefully as an actor I did my job. But Jalone, who was the other actor, was fantastic, and working off of him was so much fun. And then honestly, also credit to the editor. You know, he kept in some long moments, which really helped. And so yeah, I would say a combination of all. Certainly the casting. I mean, casting Jalone was key, but and the director is wonderful to work with as an actor.
Good point. I remember there were some long holds where it's like it just increased the uncomfortableness.
Yeah, I love the editor. I sought him out specifically because of a film I saw of his that was terrifying because of the tension. So yeah.
Right. Callum, what do you hope audiences get from your film? Get out of your film.
I mean, as a reflection and as a meditation on grief and on PTSD, I very deliberately wanted to end it on a note of not closure, but of suggestion that closure is possible. I didn't want it to be a story about, okay, she had this crazy night and now everything's fine. But I wanted to show a story where this woman who's been wrestling with these demons for a long time is at least gets to a point where she's ready to confront them. And I think that if my film were to be of any use or comfort to anybody who is going through that kind of grief or that trauma, it's just that, it's not that everything's going to be magically all right. But I did want to get to a place where things are not all right, but they are going to be like we are going to get there. We're going
hopeful. Yeah, a little hopeful. Yeah, and your film could have been, it has overlapping genres, if you will. We could have programmed it a few different ways, but it had such mood and
and I kind of like, in some ways I don't even like to pitch it as a horror film. To me it's like it's a drama that just sort of happens to exist within some horror, within a horror environment, or leans on some horror tropes. But for me, it's a story about sisters and about love.
Right.
And grief.
Right. Yeah. Which has just some scary moments, hence why it's in a scary program. Colin, how about you? What do you want people to feel when they watch your movie?
Well, so far we've been getting, the same feeling. They are terrified and then surprised. And, that's a credit to Fred Raimondi, who, just most recently worked on Thor, Love and Thunder, and was the special effects head at for Stranger Things for season 2 and The Flash. So, yeah.
That's how you did that special effect so well.
Yeah, that was Fred. So,
yeah, very smooth and slick.
Yeah, a lot of tech went into it. So, just really scary.
How challenging was that special effects in your movie?
Very, very. I mean, we tried to design, like, I love my DP, David Navarro, and we tried to design every single shot and reveal from when we first see the cheerleader to, the doorway. And the doorway was hard because we didn't have enough room in the back. We were shooting in the basement of a church. And
so that was a real storage or, basement facility.
Oh yeah, we saw that and we were like, yeah, we're going to do it right here.
How big was it? Because you can remove the walls or
tiny. It's a lot smaller than it looked, and we had to be able to pull back, and we could only pull back so far, dolly back when she's standing there. So Fred had to do a lot more in nuke and everything, working on it.
Wow. And Lam, also for you, what do you want people to get out of your movie? How do you want them to come away feeling?
I would be happy if the result of the film is, when they watch it, that the audience think about their use of social media and phones. I was just living with a friend's family in the countryside, researching for my new project, and they have a 4 years old young son, and he's all the time on the iPad from the morning to the evening, and they just give it to him and he's playing, and they don't care because they don't need to bother with him. But I can see how he goes, and he's just living inside the iPad. So he doesn't have friends, he doesn't go out. I mean, he's 4 years old, but he doesn't play with other kids. That's a pity, I think. And I just read an article in England, a teenager committed suicide because she was depressed because of social media and these things. So many people more and more live just online instead of offline. And if people think about it that more.
Yeah, and more and more submissions to our festival, at least, tackle the topic of social media or technology invading our worlds and our humanity. It's eventually going to become just a program in itself. I know it, just because we're getting so many. Maybe they're not all as excellent as yours are yet, but there are more and more submissions. It's interesting. And one thing that you inspired me, all these films have. Colin had to leave us to go finish teaching his film class, but you guys all created this great atmosphere. There's atmosphere in your films, mood, space, a sense of space. Lam, on you, how did you do that? Was it intentional? And I mean, you just create a world. How easy, how hard was that? Talk about it.
The first draft, without the music, without the sound effects, I would say there was no mood at all. I was like thinking, what do I have here? And I was not happy. But working with the composer and the sound mixer, it helped a lot. It elevated to another level. So that for sure made the difference. But I wanted it to be scary, as I felt it in my dream. So that the device is not listening to me, and then this ghost appears and so forth. So
it's almost like the audience is sharing the dream state also with you or with the characters in your movie. They're in that dream too as well, and dealing with the technology. Callum, you used your home, so it felt like we were in your house.
Yeah. I mean, I think as far as the world or the mood we created there, I guess I would really credit two things. One is just the cast. I loved the cast I ended up working with. I thought they created a great they had a great rapport and they created a great tension. And I think just as far as the visual aspect of the environment, I would give a lot of credit to my cinematographer, Dave, who I think actually, I mean, the whole team, like the as a director of photography and the lighting and the camera operators we had, I just thought all did a really great job. And I think as far as creating that, I had an idea of this sort of world where it was going to be not like it was going to be nighttime, but kind of a weird surreal, like we were going to get into a sort of hyper real or surreal sort of world. And I think I managed to convey that to Dave, and I think he had some really good ideas about how to bring that into the world. We shot all the interior stuff day for night, which I think just allowed us to kind of take it to that heightened, weird, like nighttime, but not real world nighttime.
Well, even the when the sister's being buried, if you will. I mean, how did you accomplish that? Because I felt like I was getting claustrophobic.
Yeah, well, I buried a coffin in my yard. There's a pond there now.
Seriously?
Yeah. It was kind of a running joke. I'd be digging this hole, and neighbors would walk by, and I'd be like, "I'm putting a pond here."
You actually put the actor in.
So the shots from inside the coffin we shot that inside my garage, but the shot of like anything from the exterior of the coffin where they're opening it up and she's starting to climb in, that was just literally a coffin in there.
Funny. Jamie, I'm sure being in the location that made you feel either isolated or threatened or whatever.
Yeah, it was just nature and a lot in post, just we wanted it to just be soundscape of nature, which can be soothing. And then as the crickets get more and more intense towards the end of the movie, it increases the tension. So we wanted very little music and just the nature and the aloneness in nature, which again can be soothing or terrifying, as
Right.
it was what we were using. Yeah.
Yeah, totally felt that. And Jason as well. It was creepy atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, I truly I have to credit that to my sound engineer, the sound design of that.
Mm.
We really I kind of looked into that. It turns out like an old high school basketball teammate became a Emmy award-winning sound engineer out here and lived like 15 minutes away from me. So he did a huge favor to us, you know, to work on this project for a very low rate and to help us out. So I had trouble seeing the film without the sound, you know, like I liked the edits and something was missing. But then after I, you know, listened to it or watched it after his first cut, I was like, well, this is everything, you know, like it wouldn't be what it is without him. So I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah. Well, as they say, what's that motto? You know, sound is half the film or something like that. So
yeah, probably more.
Probably more, right?
Yeah.
Especially in this genre or in scary films, horror films.
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to add? We got to wrap it up here. It's been great talking to you. Like I said, I could talk to you each individually about your films for much longer. Callum, anything you want to add or comment on that I didn't ask you?
No, I was just wanted to say to everybody, like, I think I mentioned my wife and I sat down and just watched this whole block of shorts last night, and it's a thing I was just proud to be a part of. Is a great block of shorts. I don't know if we have time for a bit of a question. I had a question for Lam, the maker.
Sure.
I'm just one thing that I think I found. Well, yeah, we found ourselves talking about probably more than anything last night. We love Mimi. We love the movie. I was curious, like when I look at that, I feel like there's a bit of a gender inversion. Like I think we're so used to seeing stories about, you know, a woman who's given up her life for her husband's career, and a woman who's at home excited about their anniversary and upset that the husband's coming home late. And I think we all, as horror film festival goers, we're all very accustomed to seeing stories about a man locking a woman in some sort of nightmare scenario and torturing her. And what you presented us was the opposite of all of that. It was an inversion of that. And I was just curious, was that an intentional inversion of expectation?
Actually, you got it right. You got it right. We had it the other way around, but then we observed that women are on the rise in Vietnam. They have they're so emancipated, and I know many women, great women, that are bosses of companies. So we wanted to play with that, and it worked out well. So yeah, that's the main reason.
Great.
Good
Yeah.
question.
I got a question. I got a remark for Jamie. So your film made me think twice when my gut says something like, "Oh, this guy is dodgy or scary." So I would rethink when I'm in a similar situation, meeting a stranger. So
Oh, good. I'm glad.
it was creepy. Yeah. And good luck for pitching it to become a feature film.
Oh, thank
To
you so
all of
much.
us.
You too.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone.
Lam, do you want to add anything else I didn't ask you or any other additional comments?
Oh, me? No. Thank you for choosing me, for choosing us, and all the best for your festival, Jason, and all the best to all of you.
Right on. Thank you. Jason, do you want to add anything I didn't mention or ask you?
And nothing about the film. I'm super proud to be part of this festival, and thank you for choosing us. And I truly loved everyone's film, and it just really, I'm very happy to be part of this group. This is and this, you know, this Q&A has been great. You guys were all really fun to listen
You're
to.
great too. This is a strong group for sure. You're absolutely right there, Jason. A great program to watch. Audiences are gonna get their money's worth here for sure.
Yeah.
Jamie, any parting words? Last but not least.
Yeah, same as everyone else. Thanks again. And it's been really great to be a part of this block. And then the only other thing I'll say is just huge thanks to my entire crew and post-production and everyone involved, because it really is, I mean, it's amazingly collaborative, and every single person is so key in reaching the final product. So thanks to my team.
And thanks to you guys, not only for submitting to our festival, but just finishing your films. I know what a challenge that is. So congratulations on completing a short movie or making a movie and getting into our film festival. They're wonderful films. You guys should be proud. Well done.
can we get in contact
Thank
with you if
you.
we have questions?
Absolutely. You can email the group if you want to email me or other filmmakers. I'll send you out an email again, and you can then communicate with whoever you like, as well as Jeff, the founder and director of the festival. But that's all the time we have, unfortunately. Thank you for your time, filmmakers. Congrats to you. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Check out more indie films at sfindie.com. And thank you for supporting independent cinema and movie theaters. Best of luck to you. I hope
Thank
I
you.
meet you in person someday, guys.
Bye.
Same. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.